Hey y'all, what's poppin' today? It's your girl Shay. Today we are doing a roller set on natural hair. Here I have my natural hair. We look a little rough, but that's okay. The most important thing when you're doing a roller set is gonna be the parting. So here I'm just gonna go ahead and show you how I take the edge of my comb and try to make a part straight back. If you notice that my hair color is a little different, bonus points for you. I'm warming my base tone up just a little bit for the summer because my hair tends to go red at the root when the sun gets to it. So I thought I'll beat it to it so I don't look crazy halfway through. This is the size of roller I'm using. Now I'm using Hydromagnetic rollers. There are lots of rollers out there that you can choose from, but Hydromagnetic I find do the least amount of damage to your hair. They have the least amount of tension versus like a Velcro roller or one with the little combs in it. If those work for you, by all means, and if it's your first time doing rollers on your own head, use what's easy for you. But this is what I'm going to use. So here I took the roller and I had placed it on my head. Okay, so I'm measuring the width here. This is so you don't try to put too much hair on the roller. Alternatively, when I was deciding how big of a part to do width-wise, like thickness-wise, you saw me lay the roller down with the round side against my skull. That's as thick as your section should be. No more, no less. So this is roughly my section that I'm going to work with. I'm just going to section it off here so that I can go ahead and bring the partings back a little bit. So this will save you a ton of time. Some people like to do all their roller set partings first. Some people like to part as they go. Whatever's easiest for you. If it's your first time, I would recommend doing your partings first. It just helps you feel a little bit more organized, like you know where everything's gonna go. And it gives you a better idea of how many little sections each big section can be broken down into, so you can double check that you have enough rollers before you even start. So here I am struggling to make a part. It's hard to see in the camera screen. I didn't have it set up to my monitor, so I'm looking at my little camera LCD screen here. So bear with me. Oh, we're out of focus. Okay. So I bring it all the way back. This is what I call the mohawk parting. So you do from your front hairline to your back hairline, straight back, zebra style mohawk, however you want to remember it. This is the easiest way to go about it. So now I'm just going to clean up that first part that we did for that first section for the very first roller. Okay. There you see it. I am capable of clean parts. This is a section I'm going to use. So this is my mist bottle from Sally's. These are amazing. They're hard to find, but they are so worth the money. You get a nice little spritz each time. I'm following Up North Naturals go-to hydrating milk. Guys, the key is moisture here, okay? Lots of people will just use a styling or a setting product. And if that's what works for you, go for it. But moisturized hair will always, always, always look and hold up better than dry hair. So I'm just working that little bit of the moisture milk through. Okay? You can see my little curl definition there. We're not starting on blown out hair or anything like that. We're starting straight from natural and wet. It sounds crazy, but when I tell you wetter is better, wetter is better. My hairstyling teacher from years ago told me that, and everyone laughed at the time, but it is so true. This little brush here is what they call a teasing brush. It's actually a backcombing brush. We don't say teasing. She used to say you tease your brother, not your hair. I'm following up with the Design Essentials Curl Enhancing Mousse. It also doubles as an amazing wrapping and setting foam. I really love it. It smells great. It's packed with vitamins. I get really great curl definition on days when I really want my curls to have a strong hold and pop. But in this case, we're going to use it to set this. So you work it through, okay, roots to end. I used a little bit much on the front section, but that's okay. This is where, especially where you get baby hairs and little flyaways, it's good to use a little bit extra. Okay, so here we go. I'm wetting the hydromagnetic roller. Now, hydromagnetic means the wetter it is, the better it'll stick. That is key here. So I'm combing it out with my teasing comb, aka my backcombing brush. This is just to smooth the hair. I am not detangling the hair with this brush. It's too damaging. I use a fine tooth comb, but my hair at the front typically doesn't tangle. You stick the hair to it, make sure it's nice and wet. If at this point the hair is not sticking at it by itself, you know your hair is not wet enough or the roller is not wet enough. Roll slowly, slowly, slowly. There you go. You shouldn't get any gaping at the root, okay? And first I'm going to secure it with a roller clip. This is just to help keep my hair smoothed down until I'm ready to go under the dryer. Because I'm filming it, it's going to take me a little longer than it normally would to do my hair. So I really want to make sure that nothing starts flying away while we're at this stage. And that way you just guarantee that you'll get the smoothest. If you're doing it for the first time, these are also great for helping hold it in place. Now I'm using roller clips just at the base. These are really the key for holding it in place. The roller clips, for me, are really just to keep my hair all nice and smooth down. And there you have it. That is your very first roller. Awesome. Okay. One down, a whole head to go. From here, what you're going to do is feel where the edge of that roller is. And again, you're measuring with the round part of your roller, okay, the width of your roller. That determines how thick your section is. There you go. We've already done our partings, our mohawk partings, so we know how wide to be. We just need to check on that thickness. And once you get good at it, you'll be able to do it without measuring. But I wanted to make sure I showed step by step, especially for the first two rollers, so everyone can be on the same page and get the hang of it. Okay, I'm tidying my parting up, but I'm not going to perfect it. As long as you don't have too much hair, it's okay. And ignore my noodle arms. It's a lot of work. Again, we are misting, okay? Make sure it's super duper wet. It's easier for some people to wet a whole section, but for me, I'm doing it little part by little part while I demonstrate. But when I do it quickly, I usually wet the whole section and just go for it. Okay, following with my Up North Naturals hair milk. Again, you're working it through the section, focusing on the mid-shaft and ends. Gently detangling if necessary. I would definitely recommend it. The smoother you can get your hair, the better. You'll get a much better result from your rollers, especially since we're not starting with like blown out hair. Keep it nice and wet, and then make sure all the product's distributed evenly. This is a good time to feel for the thickness of the section. This is where you'll be able to tell, ooh, there's too much hair, or ooh, I could add a little bit more. Then I'm going in with the Design Essentials foam. This is really the key to getting it to set nicely. Okay, pay attention here. The angle that you are combing your hair up at matters, okay? You don't want to comb it at a 90 angle degree. You want to comb it in front. We call it full on, a full on base, okay? More of like a 120 degree angle. That way when you roll it back, okay, I know I'm not holding it right now. Just hold on. When you roll it back, you want the roller to sit on the patch of hair that was parted for it, okay? If you don't roll it properly, you see the looseness that you get there? This is why. When you comb it and you smooth it at a certain angle, that's the angle you need to hold it at when you're rolling it back. If you move your hands closer or further away from that spot, you'll start to get lots of slack in your roller and it'll be too loose and you won't get a good result. That is the key. to getting good volume, but then also good definition at the root, because it's really easy to get loose curls or loose hair at the root and not get a great result. That's when people need to go in and start blow drying and straightening and whatever their roots. If you do it right, you comb it at the right angle, you're good. Okay, so here you've seen I've done the entire mohawk section. It's so much faster off camera. Ignore this little curl. It didn't want to stay in, but that's okay. No one's really going to see him anyway. Now we're starting on the sides. The sides are very difficult for people. Here's usually where you're dealing with a different curl pattern, different lengths, okay? I split this one big side section into two, right? By my ear. I use my ear as kind of the midpoint. You judge for you kind of what is an easy middle to work with. Here I'm going to struggle again to get a nice parting because I can't actually see anything. But that's okay. This looks like a disaster. There's method to my madness. Okay, so aside from the hair that I just pulled to the front, that's not even supposed to be in the front, we're just going to clean this up. Now I've done this section a little bit on an angle towards my ear. You know your head's best. Part it how you want it. I'm going to show you how I do the sectioning for the rollers. You decide how best they're going to fit on your head. However that is, rock with it. Yes, I'm in front of my curtains. Yes, I peeked outside. Okay, so here we go. Here was the rough section. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to make sure you don't have too much. The first roller we're going to do is going to be a gray one, but these are the red rollers are slightly smaller than the gray, okay? See the size difference? I'm going to start using the red rollers on the sides, but for this very first one, because it's a corner one as I call it, it's a triangular shaped parting, it's going to be a gray roller. We're putting more hair in it, so we don't want to use a red roller. So you take a little section, same thing, measure with your roller to judge how thick that section should be, how much hair is involved. There we go, that's my parting. So I'm just going to clip the bottom bits away, just like that. This is a section I'm going to work with. So again, the same steps. First you wet it, keep it nice and moist. Then I would follow with my Up North Naturals hair milk. Because this section is thicker, it might take you longer. Make sure that it's soaked all the way through. Okay, triangular pieces, they'll play with you. They'll play with you. You think it's all wet, but then the center's super dry and then it ends up not setting right. So take your time. Make sure you saturate the hair. Distribute that product. Use it as a time to, again, test the thickness of the section. Make sure that the hair is saturated. Make sure everything's gliding through nice and easy. Detangle if you need. Don't let the hair dry out. It needs to stick to the roller, so it has to be wet. It's always a good way to remember the wetter is better rule. Again, combing at the angle that you're going to roll at. I want volume at the root. If you were doing a roller set and you didn't want the volume, you don't have to hold it at 120-ish degree angle. But if you're like me and you want the volume, that's what you have to do. So now I'm spreading the setting foam through that section of hair, making sure I get right at that root, because the roots are the ones that are going to stay wavy if they're not stretched and rolled properly. Now I'm taking that backcombing brush and I'm going up again in that direction. This is where it gets tricky because you might start hitting rollers and stuff. If you rolled them and secured them properly, you don't have to worry about it. So it's a good way to remind yourself to take your time, because if you roll it right, nice and tight the first time, you don't have to go back and fix any when you accidentally start bumping into them with your clumsy hands later on. So again, combing at 120-degree angle, taking my roller, making sure the hair sticks to it, rolling it down nice and tight. Okay, there's a difference between rolling it nice and tight and smoothing as you go and pulling your hair out at the follicles. You're not pulling, you're wrapping. You shouldn't feel any incredibly painful tension at your root. Really, it should just feel nice and snug and secure. When you clip it at your head, make sure, you don't jab your scalp. If something doesn't feel right, move the clip. We're not here to hurt our heads. We don't want that. You don't want any pain. You don't want anything uncomfortable, because you do still have to sit under a dryer and dry these babies before you can take them out. So make sure everything's nice and comfortable. You want it secure but not too tight. You don't want any tension problems. We're not trying to cause bald patches on our heads, okay? That's the nice thing of using hydromagnetic rollers. You can start from wet, and that makes you a little bit more gentle on your hair, reduces the amount of heat you have to use. But if you're hurting your hair and causing too much tension, your hair is very vulnerable when it is wet. It's capable of breaking, the hair is swollen, it is in a vulnerable state. So we do want to be gentle and kind. Okay, from here on, I'm going to use red rollers, and I believe I left that for off camera because I wanted to show how to do that front section that we tucked away. So here we go. Okay. Surprise! Went ahead and did it. Okay, so all I did here was I finished down underneath that gray roller with the red rollers. And then I went one red roller over from the gray. Okay, just straight down parts, rectangular parts, nothing complicated, but I saved the fronts. See how they're not the same? Okay, partings aren't perfect. No head is perfect. Some heads, different sides will have more hair and whatever. So it's okay if you end up with differences at the beginning. I'm going to show you different things that you can do for these sections depending on the style you're going to be doing. So, same thing, wet the section. Just because I wet this whole section at once doesn't mean it's all going in one roller, okay? I just did that to save a little bit of time. Gently combing those baby hairs in, but I'm not stressed about them. It's okay. Baby hairs are baby hairs. You don't want to cause too much stress on the hairline, on your scalp here. If you're worried about your baby hairs and you want your baby hairs, or in my case, your teenage hairs, adult hairs, whatever, smoothed into that roller, great. If you have pieces like this around your face that aren't the same length and they fall out, it's okay. I'm going to show you how to incorporate that. So, same thing, you're smoothing it on the roller, starting to roll it. Smooth it, roll it nice and tight, okay? When you get to a decent length where you think that piece of hair could fit in, pick it up, wrap it around, smooth it down, and keep going. Make sure it's at the right angle though. Okay? And there you go. That's it. That's one of the options. You can keep doing your straight down rectangular parts at your front if that's going to work for you. This is great for if you're wearing your roller set like out and down. If you're doing some sort of half up, half down do where one side is going to be pulled down and back, okay? If you're pulling it straight back and up, I wouldn't recommend doing it like this. You should always be wrapping it so that when it comes out, it's going in the direction, it falls in the direction you want. So I would have rolled the same way we rolled in the front, in the top of the mohawk, you were going straight back. Okay, for those of you noticing the little pimples on my forehead, no, they are not paying rent. No, they were not invited to the party, but they're here. So we're just rocking with them. This section is going to be a little bit different just because we're working with a little bit less hair. Okay? Sometimes it's really nice to leave the front sides till the end, because if you end up with less hair, you can really take your time and get smaller amounts of hair on each roller, so the fronts are going to be popping, because 99% of the time in pictures, it's the fronts that people look at. If they're not smooth or they're not rolled properly, that's the first thing people notice. Like the silly bum that I am, some of the footage of me doing that, like the side half up do that I did, was corrupted, okay? So I cried over it. There's nothing we can do about it now. Just carry on. For this little piece, I'm going to take a perm rod. If you didn't have a perm rod, you could use another roller. That works too. If you didn't have that, you could also wrap it around your finger, okay? And then take one of the roller clips and clip it that way. There's nothing wrong with that. You would still get a nice smooth result. A little less volume, but it would be a really nice curl. We're done. Great job, everybody, if you've been following up until now. Now you're going to sit under your dryer until it's dry. Took me about half an hour. Design Essentials helps dry it super fast. So here we go. I'm taking it down. Yes, my makeup is done, I was definitely in a rush, if you can tell. But look at those curls, okay? They're nice and smooth. You'll notice nothing fell out, okay? That's my brother in the background. He was encouraging me because he knew we were running late. But those are the curls I got. So if you're doing an updo, these curls are perfect. They're pristine, okay? They're nice and neat. No frizz. Look at that. All you would have to do is fluff out by the roots to kind of hide and conceal those partings a little bit. If you wanted to wear them how they are with just the roots fluffed out, that's totally fine. For me, I hadn't actually planned the updo that I was going to do. I assumed it would be a half up, half down do. What I ended up doing was pinning one side back and wearing the other side completely out. And I fluffed and fluffed and fluffed and fluffed to get some more volume. My hair is very, very fine. So the added volume of the rollers is always super appreciated. I can't keep roller curls in my hair for too long though. My hair starts to lock actually. It'll lock if I leave it. So here we go. You can see what I mean by the way you roll it is how it's going to sit. So see that volume at the root? That's what you get. I'm very, very, very happy with these results. I've used a lot of different types of rollers, but the Hydromagnetic ones have never failed me. I always get a super great result with them. Yes, my room is a disaster in the background. It's all my Banner costumes up there. Okay, there we go. And then from here you can split the curls to get some different sizing, some tighter ones, some looser ones. You could brush them out if you really wanted the nice voluminous wavy look. It's totally up to you. The nice thing is that there's so many possibilities once you have a successful roller set. The hardest part for people is learning to do it reliably so that it turns out well every time. The key is taking your time in the parting, in the wrapping, and that way you get a great result. Some of you may be cringing because I'm destroying them, but I'm really just fluffing them out. I don't like the super pristine look, so I don't mind the extra volume. And because I'm a fool, I'll just have to attach a photo after this. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope this was helpful for you. Okay, like, subscribe, comment below what else you'd like to see, and thanks so much.